What's up, everybody? Welcome to the ReCoop Recap. How are you doing? This is rehearsal number 1. You know what I mean? I'm starting a new show. It aims to be the most fun place for people to get all of the week's blockchain news. All right? That's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to make blockchain news fun and accessible to everybody. That's the goal. That's the mission, and I'm just getting started. If you're here right now, I want your feedback. Put it in the comments of this video. I will be very active in the comments of this video, taking your suggestions, reading your encouragement, whatever it is you come with, I'm open to it, and we can have dialogue about it, all right? And if this doesn't interest you at all, if you don't want to be part of the process, meet me in a few weeks when this show is more fleshed out, all right? Right now, I don't have any graphics. I'm waiting on some stuff. And as we wait, let's mold this thing, right? Let's just get started. I got to get started. I like rehearsals. I like open mics. I like to workshop. I'm an improvisational person. I like to go off the top of my head, be spontaneous. And that process needs me to do rather than to just sit and think about what I will do. So here I am doing. So let's get started. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the ReCoop Recap. I'm your host, Cooper Daniels, and this is the spot for you to get all of this week's blockchain news. Let's get into it. All eyes on the Fed this week. Jerome Powell walked out on Wednesday. They raised the interest rates 25 basis points. They're tapering that down, folks. The markets expected it, and the markets celebrated it. He came out and he said, look, we are not nearly as excited about it as you are, but we appreciate the excitement, market, because the main thing, one of the main things that inflation needs is for you and I to believe that it's going down. It's a crazy mind game, and the market seems to be thinking that it is going down much quicker and will be resolved much faster than the Fed does. Folks, don't fight the Fed, but whatever. Markets went up. But then later in the week on Friday, the markets got devastating news. Unemployment is at all-time lows, folks. We created a bunch of jobs, 516,000 new jobs. Devastating news for the markets that unemployment is doing so well. Listen, the Fed is going to put us into a recession. We are in a bear market pump. And it's a very kind of interesting time. But this volatility is a gift to a lot of you out there that trade. A lot of tech companies reported earnings this week. Meta is a great example of some of the euphoria from this week. I think a lot of these increases were based on the report from Meta. Meta actually, folks, if you don't know, Meta is formerly Facebook. Meta, they had a earnings per share miss of 21%. They were expected to report $2.26 per share. They reported $1.76. They are bleeding money in their metaverse division. I believe they lost over $4 billion on their metaverse ambitions. And they did beat some overall revenue metrics, expectations, and but the big catalyst was the announcement that they're adding $40 billion to their stock buyback fund, which is now at $50 billion. So they're pumping it. Everybody knows that they have a $50 billion war chest that they intend to buy stock with, so that can keep the stock price afloat. Next up in the ReCoop Recap is this week's blockchain news. Let's go. All right, and this week's blockchain news, literal 100-year-old man comes out and yells at Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Charlie Munger of Berkshire Hathaway fame, 99-year-old man, comes out, writes an op-ed saying that cryptocurrency should be banned, right? Should be banned, folks. It's legalized gambling contracts. He doesn't get it. There's no value. There's nothing to it. What's going on? You know what I mean? That's what Charlie Munger says, and literally nobody's listening except for making fun of him. Maybe Charlie, maybe Warren, you should stick to Coca-Cola and ketchup. You know what I'm saying? Your day has passed. Then, in other news, huge West Coast technology company makes an exciting announcement. A huge West Coast technology company, cutting edge technology company makes an announcement. The California DMV is putting car titles on the blockchain using the Tezos blockchain. Folks, who saw that coming, right? California DMV is putting car titles on the Tezos blockchain. Now, let's take a step back. It's a private iteration of the Tezos blockchain with permissioned validators, but still using the ledger, using the blockchain to make car titles more secure, used car sales more transparent, in getting rid of all of those middlemen at DMV having to send the things. You can transfer title real quick, easy on Tezos. I'm sure it's next to free. I haven't used Tezos much, so that's pretty cool, right? Go for it, California DMV. What's next, California? Tokenized oat milk cortados? Sorry. These jokes will get better, folks. What's a cortado? Are you wondering what a cortado is? Well, a cortado is in between a macchiato and a latte. It's equal parts espresso and steamed milk, all right? So I have a buddy that's actually from the East Coast, and I just went to a coffee shop with him, and he, in his East Coast accent, was like, hey, can I get an oat milk cortado? I'm sorry for being such a cunt. So anyways, that's it. Jokes will get better. But yeah, so California DMV. That's cool. Kathy Wood. Has everybody heard of Kathy Wood? She's got the ARK Invest Innovation Fund. I believe in mid 2021, the ARK Invest Innovation Fund hit $156, and currently it's sitting at $40. She is a growth tech specialist. She is she sees into the future, and she has also seen a lot of losses recently, but she still thinks that Bitcoin can be over $1 million in the next 7 years. One Bitcoin, $1 million. That lady is never endingly bullish on Bitcoin. We got some good news for Coinbase. Class action lawsuit that was put up against Coinbase got dismissed by a judge. There was a group of people suing Coinbase for selling unregistered securities. The judge said that they cannot determine that they were holding the title, the deed to these securities. The judge didn't say whether they're securities or not, but yeah, that got dismissed, and that helped the coin stock. We got U.S. credit card debt, by the way. I could have put this in the market. This isn't necessarily crypto news, but this is stuff that you should be paying attention to because, crypto, blockchain, cryptocurrency is also affiliated, tied with the overall markets, the macro. I mean, there's a lot of macro happening right now. There's rumors that Russia is going to have some big offensive on the 24th, which is the 1-year anniversary of the beginning of this war, I think, right? So there's that. We have in the US, we have a spy balloon, apparently, a Chinese spy balloon floating across the United States. We're not shooting it down because we don't want to hurt people on the ground. It's interesting, folks. There's the macro scene, the global politics are rough. And also what is rough is that U.S. credit card debt has reached almost $1 trillion. And as the Fed keeps on raising those interest rates, those minimum payments become less and less effective, and we are going to see massive defaults in the credit card industry. Folks, that is an alarming thing. So there was that. Oh yeah, and we're getting a little bit of a love letter from the Senate Banking Committee on February 14th. They're going to do a hearing. They're going to do a hearing about the dangers in digital assets. They're going to discuss the crypto crash. Tim Scott, Republican, the head of that committee. Sherrod Brown, the head Democrat, ally of Elizabeth Warren. Two people that are not friends of cryptocurrency in any capacity. right? So that's this week's news. And that actually brings me to a new segment, another segment I call Soapbox, where I get on a soapbox. We've got the intro, we got the market watch, we got the blockchain news, we got a soapbox, and now this leads me to something that I'm calling the crypto casino. On the first rant of every month, I'm going to pull the slot machine. I'm looking for a graphic, a slot machine graphic that has blockchains loaded up into it. And then I'm going to pull it. And then whatever blockchain comes up, I'm going to cover at some point in the month. And I don't have a slot machine to pull. So I'm just going to announce this month on the ReCoop, I'm going to do a deep dive into Near. All right. So Near, I'll be talking about you. And in the future, I'm going to have a cool little slot machine that I'm going to pull, and it's going to reveal in the first week of every month which blockchain I will be covering that month. That is outside of what I normally cover. All right. And that's about it, folks. Like, that is, obviously you're watching me do this in front of a green screen. The idea is that I'm not going to be doing it in front of plants. I want a more polished look for this show. I'm looking to push this stuff forward, so I'm excited about that. I'm getting help from Block Runner, from Flemish Giants. It's going to look fantastic. The show is going to be great. So I think I'll end every show with the recap of the show, and it'll be the ReCoop Recap, maybe, or the the recap rewind, or whatever you want to say. But it's the Fed, basically. The recap rewind is that the Fed came out and raised interest rates 25 basis points. Jobs are being unemployment is at an all-time low. There's volatility, which is back, which is great for traders, but not necessarily for longs. And people that FOMO, you don't want to FOMO into these pumps. Maybe you do, but I don't think you do. But you also don't want to be short during these times, because things can take off and they can just clear all the shorts up, and then it pumps up really high, and maybe you think you're safe and you actually weren't. And then it can happen in the exact reverse and liquidate all the longs on the way down. So guys, you got to be careful out there. And look, 99-year-old men just don't get it. And Coinbase seems to be out of the weeds. I wish they'd fix some of the stuff that they're doing. I just don't understand it. That app seems to be getting worse, which it'd be nice if it were getting better. U.S. credit card debt is super high. Chinese balloons spying on us. And on Valentine's Day, they're gonna the Senate is going to give us probably a giant kick in the balls, folks. So that's it. Tech companies are underperforming, and the market is all over the place. So guys, this will be much more fleshed out. There will be more content in the week. There'll be more weekly news that I dive into. It'll be more polished as we go along. But this is my first go at it. I'm just going to post it, and hopefully a few of you have some cool things to say that give me great ideas. All right, everybody. Hey, thank you for tuning in to the first rehearsal for the ReCoop Recap. I'm your host, Cooper Daniels. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe, share it on social media, do all of the things, and I'll see you next week. Bye.